Deep in the dense jungles of Thailand lived a Muay Thai champion named Tony. He used his mastery of Muay Thai to defeat countless opponents in the ring. After years of fighting, he grew weary. He decided to leave the arena and return to the wilderness. With him was a baby elephant he had once brought back from Sydney. Time passed, and the little elephant grew into a full-grown giant. Tony did not want Muay Thai to be lost. He began teaching the art to children in the village, but many parents were unhappy. They believed studying in school was more important. To them, martial arts could not help their children make a living. So Tony was often driven away. In the end, he had to take the elephant back into the jungle. Even though he left the fighting world, his fame still spread far. His elephant became even more famous. It had an uncanny sense as if it understood human speech. Many people came to offer large sums of money to buy it, but Tony always refused. One day, a notorious elephant smuggler named Kim Jia came to his house. He offered a high price for the elephant. Tony rejected him immediately, which enraged Kim Jia. Knowing he could not force Tony openly, Kim Jia secretly ordered his men to steal the elephant when Tony was away. When Tony discovered the animal was missing, he was devastated. He found a business card dropped on the ground with Kim Jia's name on it. He instantly realized who was behind it. Tony followed the address on the card. On the way, he fought through all the guards, but when he entered the office, he found Kim Jia already dead. By examining the wound, Tony realized the man had been killed with a single deadly strike to the head. It was a Muay Thai technique. Other than Tony, almost no one could execute it. This discovery filled him with doubt. At that moment, twin sisters Dai Hua and Xiao Hua, who were Kim Jia's nieces, walked in. Seeing the scene, they immediately assumed Tony had murdered their uncle. Both attacked him ferociously. Tony defended himself while trying to explain he was not the killer, but the sisters refused to listen. In the chaos, a strange whistle sounded. Tony realized someone was setting him up. He turned and fled. Dai Hua and Xiao Hua chased him relentlessly. Luckily, Tony's movements were swift and agile. He slipped away from both the police and the sisters. Turning down another street, Tony unexpectedly ran into an old friend named Lao He. He had once been a police officer in Sydney and was now an Interpol agent. This time, Lao He had been sent to Thailand to prevent a possible terrorist attack. Knowing Tony well, he was convinced Tony could not have killed Kim Jia. Under Lao He's protection, Tony escaped safely. But Dai Hua and Xiao Hua witnessed this. They became even more certain Tony was the culprit. Later, Lao He returned to the crime scene to investigate. From Kim Jia's phone records, he discovered that the man had been in frequent contact with Black Tiger Gang. This was an international organization of assassins made up of martial arts masters. Within the group, rank and status were determined by fighting skill. Even Black Tiger's lover, Ranat, was among the top 20 fighters. That day, the gang welcomed a new recruit. The newcomer was arrogant. He immediately demanded to spar with the gang's second-ranked fighter, Crew. Black Tiger ordered Ranat to step forward. When Ranat appeared, everyone was shocked. She wore only a few strips of red silk, revealing her striking figure. Seeing that his opponent was a woman, the newcomer became even more dismissive. But Ranat defeated him in only 3 moves, leaving him sprawled on the ground. At that moment, a large truck drove in. On the truck was Tony's elephant. This revealed a secret deal between Kim Jia and Black Tiger. In truth, Kim Jia had betrayed his allies after being pressured by police. Black Tiger received the elephant and sent Crew to silence Kim Jia. The blame placed on Tony remained unexplained. Elsewhere, Lao He met with Tony to talk. When Tony learned his elephant had once again been taken, he was furious and helpless. At the same time, he finally understood why Lao He was in Thailand. In just a few days, the leader of the Republic of Katana would visit. Lao He had received intelligence that a terrorist plot was planned for the ceremony. He was in Thailand to investigate and stop it. By chance, he crossed paths with Tony during the incident with Kim Jia. After sharing information, Lao He told Tony about the Black Tiger Gang. He believed the stolen elephant was directly linked to the terrorist plot. While they were still discussing the matter, Dai Hua and Xiao Hua suddenly appeared. The moment they saw Tony, they attacked again. From the moment they had seen Lao He let Tony go, they suspected both men were working together and had secretly followed them here. Tony tried to explain, but the sisters refused to listen and struck with deadly intent. At that moment, a gang of teenagers on motorcycles stormed into the building. Without saying a word, they attacked everyone inside. Dai Hua and Xiao Hua quickly defeated a few of them, but from their movements, it was clear Tony was the true target. Not wanting others to be hurt, Tony bolted outside and climbed to the rooftop. The bikers chased him. They gunned their engines and tried to knock him down. Tony dodged while using the terrain to counter and drop one after another. But there were too many. He was rammed several times and his body grew weak. He was forced to run. Tony dashed into a laundry line filled with bedsheets. 3 riders had their vision blocked and lost track of him. While they searched, Tony leapt from above and kicked down 2 of them. He covered the last one's head with fabric and struck him down. But more enemies came and gave him no rest. Tony had to leap across to another building and keep running. He sprinted over rooftops and onto the train tracks. Behind him, the bikers chased relentlessly. Just then, a train thundered in. Tony gathered his strength and jumped across safely. Several bikers tried to follow but were smashed to pieces by the train. Tony kept running along the wall of a building and stole another motorcycle. But when he reached the street, he found the road completely blocked by more bikers. With no way out, he had to charge directly into the crowd. He broke through and doubled back. The bikers pursued hard and boxed him in. He swerved into a narrow alley, but it was a trap. In desperation, Tony abandoned the bike. He grabbed whatever objects he found along the roadside and hurled them at his pursuers. A few were knocked down, giving him a chance to escape. He jumped onto the roof of a car, intending to steal it, but the driver turned out to be an accomplice of the bikers. The man drove wildly to throw Tony off. The car sped forward and suddenly slid under a fuel tanker. Tony ducked low to survive. The bikers behind had no time to react and crashed into the tanker, causing a massive explosion. In the chaos, Tony seized another motorcycle and kept fleeing. Tony sped onto an overpass, but the bikers would not give up. This time, they pulled guns and fired at him. He jumped onto a large truck, searching for a way out, but the truck's tires were shot out. It lost control and smashed into the guardrail. The momentum flung Tony into the air. By luck, his legs snagged on a rope, and he swung back onto the bridge. The bikers rushed in to finish him. Tony grabbed onto another passing truck. The bikers lost balance and plunged into the sea. Tony survived by a hair. While Tony narrowly escaped, Lao He was not so lucky. He was captured by the Black Tiger gang. Dai Hua and Xiao Hua failed to subdue Tony, so they had to withdraw. The bikers reported everything to Black Tiger. Hearing that so many men could not capture Tony, he cursed them as useless and immediately ordered Crew and another assassin to finish the job. They used Lao He's phone to send Tony a message luring him to the shipyard. When Tony arrived, he realized too late it was a trap. As he prepared to retreat, Dai Hua and Xiao Hua appeared as well. The 3 sides clashed in total chaos. Tony fought through Crew's men and fled. The sisters chased him again. Eventually, they cornered him in a warehouse. A brutal battle broke out. Tony did not want to hurt them, so he held back his strikes. But the sisters attacked with lethal intent. They even used hidden weapons. At that moment, Crew arrived. Xiao Hua rushed forward to block him, but he quickly subdued her and killed her with a Muay Thai strike. The wound was identical to Kim Jia's. Seeing her sister die, Dai Hua finally realized Tony was not the killer. She turned to attack Crew, but the gap in strength was too great. She was quickly restrained. Tony intervened just in time to save her. The clash between the Muay Thai champion and the top assassin officially began. Crew unleashed vicious attacks determined to kill Tony to prove his power. Dai Hua tried to help, but could not keep up. She fired a poison needle in desperation, but Crew and Tony switched places, and the needle struck Tony instead. Within moments, he collapsed and was taken away by Crew. Dai Hua barely managed to escape. When Tony awoke, his hands were tied behind his back. A strange electronic device was strapped to him. His elephant was locked in an iron cage beside him with the same device attached. Soon, Black Tiger appeared. He invited Tony to join his organization. For a long time, he had heard of Tony's unmatched skill and had orchestrated this elaborate scheme. He wanted Tony hunted by police so that when he was desperate, he would have no choice but to join. But Lao He's sudden appearance ruined the plan. Black Tiger was forced to capture Tony directly. Faced with the offer, Tony firmly refused. Black Tiger ordered his men to activate the torture device. Watching his elephant convulse in pain, Tony could not endure it. He reluctantly agreed to comply for the moment. Meanwhile, Dai Hua tracked down where Lao He was held and risked her life to free him. Together, they went to the morgue to examine Kim Jia's body. They found wounds identical to those on Xiao Hua. This proved the real killer was Crew. Dai Hua swore vengeance. Lao He returned to his duty as an Interpol agent. At this time, Tony was given a new mission. He had to assassinate a high-ranking official in a luxury hotel. The device was still strapped to him, and Black Tiger's men held the remote. With no choice, Tony stormed into the hotel. He struck down guards and seized the official, dragging him to the rooftop. At that moment, Lao He received word and rushed to the scene. He demanded to know why Tony was doing this. Tony could only say he had no choice. He slashed the man's tie and leapt into the pool below. Lao He checked and saw the official was unharmed. The cut had only sliced the tie. The man was saved in time. Lao He immediately ordered security to pursue Tony. Black Tiger's men also ran to the pool. When they did not see Tony, they prepared to press the remote to kill him. But Tony appeared from behind. He kicked one down and smashed the device. From his mouth, Tony learned the truth. Black Tiger never trusted him. Even if he completed the mission, he would be killed. If the police failed to take him, the device would. His elephant would be shipped that night to Phuket as a gift for the leader of Katana. The true target all along was the elephant. Furious Tony knocked the man out and fled. That night, Tony had no one left to trust but Lao He. He found him and revealed everything. With Lao He's help, the device was removed. Together, they set out for Phuket. Lao He was certain the terrorist plot was tied directly to Black Tiger Gang, and he was right. A Thai general unwilling to live under others had secretly allied with Black Tiger. They planned an attack during the banquet for the visiting Katana president. All his closest aides would be present. It was the perfect chance for massacre. Security at the banquet was extremely tight. To bypass it, Black Tiger had hidden bombs inside the elephant's tusks. He disguised the animal as a ceremonial gift. Once the garland with the trigger touched the tusks, the entire hall would explode. The next day before the banquet began, Tony tracked the trail to Black Tiger's hideout. There he found Dai Hua fighting against a group of henchmen. Tony rushed in to help. She had followed the path of Crew and ended up in Phuket as well. Together they cut down many enemies. In the chaos, Dai Hua confronted Crew. She charged at him without hesitation, but the difference in strength was overwhelming. She was thrown back hard. Her body slammed against an oil barrel. Realizing the danger, Dai Hua set the barrel ablaze. She intended to die with Crew, but he escaped at the last moment, leaving her inside the sea of fire. Whether she survived was unknown. After defeating more henchmen, Tony clashed with Crew, who had just fled the flames. They launched into a death match. Tony was already exhausted, and at first he struggled. Crew unleashed ruthless strikes aimed to kill him on the spot, but Tony steadied his breath and regained his agility. He countered with powerful blows targeting joints and bones. Crew faltered under the barrage. He could barely defend. Still, he fought back desperately. The battle spilled out of the building and onto the train tracks. Tony's foot became trapped between the rails. Crew lunged to finish him. Just then, a train roared in. Both were forced to dive aside. Tony seized the moment and drove a crushing elbow into Crew's head. Crew staggered, dazed. Tony pulled his leg free and launched a furious counterattack. In the end, Crew was beaten down and killed. News of Crew's death quickly reached Black Tiger. Enraged, he led his men to the scene. Tony intercepted him and demanded to know where the elephant was. Meanwhile, the banquet officially began. Ranat disguised herself as a server to get close to the president. In her hands were two garlands rigged with the detonation trigger. Once the president placed them on the elephant's tusks, the bomb would explode. Black Tiger, confident of success, revealed the whole plot in his arrogance. Furious Tony attacked him. Black Tiger's skills were far greater than Crew's, but even he was no match for the Muay Thai champion. Within a few moves, Tony had him down. He immediately called Lao He, who was handling security at the banquet. Lao He shouted a warning about the bomb. Panic erupted. The president was rushed out safely. Ranat used the chaos to escape. On the way, she ran into Black Tiger, who had regained consciousness. She tried to flee with him, but he refused to accept failure. Mad with rage, he strangled Ranat to death and stormed back toward the hall. At the same time, Tony and Lao He located the elephant. They discovered the bomb embedded directly into its tusks. It was extremely dangerous. If removed, it would explode. The tusks were loose and could break off. Tony had to hold them steady with his own body. At that moment, Black Tiger appeared. With him came Dai Hua and Crew. Both had survived, though gravely wounded. Chaos broke out again. Tony refused to leave the elephant's side. He shielded it with his body. Black Tiger struck viciously, and Tony collapsed. Yet even on the ground, he held the tusks tightly. Lao He and Dai Hua threw themselves at Crew. After a fierce battle, they finally brought him down for good. But Tony was nearly spent. Black Tiger lifted a club and smashed it against his head, knocking him unconscious. He stepped forward to pull the tusks and trigger the bomb. In that instant, Tony whistled. The elephant understood. It hurled the Black Tiger into the air. Tony leapt onto its back and delivered a final, crushing kick. Black Tiger was thrown away as the tusks came loose. The bomb detonated in a massive blast. Black Tiger was obliterated. The explosion unleashed a shockwave that hurled Tony and the elephant off the cliff into the sea. By fortune, they survived and were carried to shore. The terrorist plot was stopped. The Katana president was safe. The film ends here. This is the second installment of the Tom Yum Goong series. The story is full of gaps, but the action sequences in Thai style are spectacular. The fights are brutal and authentic. The 3D effects immerse the audience in the battles. Even if the plot feels thin, what lingers after the credits are the breathtaking fight scenes. Overall, Tom Yum Goong 2 is not a perfect film in terms of story. The script has holes, and some developments feel forced, but the movie makes up for it with explosive action. Viewers do not come to the theater for a flawless narrative. They come for the adrenaline and the thrill of martial arts. Tony Jaa proves once again he is a top Asian action star. His kicks are powerful and stunning. The one-on-one duels and motorcycle chases hold the audience spellbound. The blend of traditional Thai martial arts with modern choreography delivers a true action spectacle. For all its flaws, the film still stands as an exhilarating experience for fans of intense martial arts cinema.